Welcome to the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Bumpy McSquigums, and today we're going to be diving in. We're going to be checking out Cook, Serve, Delicious 3 right here on the Steam store page. It is currently at the highest discount we've ever offered at 50% off as part of the Made with Game Maker sale event that is going on right now on Steam. It's only going to run for a few more hours on this day. We're going to do a 2-hour stream. This is going to be a kind of a introductory course, if you will, kind of a beginner's learning to survive in Cook, Serve, Delicious 3, I suppose. And then we're going to be playing another stream about an hour after this 2-hour stream is done. And that'll run us right up through to the very end of the sale. So, hopefully you guys are able to take advantage of that 50% savings. Again, highest discount we've had on Cook, Serve, Delicious 3. But that's neither here nor there. Let's dive in and let's explain exactly how to play Cook, Serve, Delicious 3. If this is your first time experiencing the game itself or the series, I will be your Svengali. I will teach you the ways of the chef, I guess. Yeah, we'll go with that. The ways of the chef, folks. So, without any further ado, let's get on in here. I'm going to go down to a new save file. And basically, we're going to get the story so far, and I'll give you guys a real brief rundown on what went down in the first two games. Very brief. Like, just the vaguest of ideas. And then, yeah, then we're going to dive in, and I'm going to explain, like, the best ways to go about things, any important options you need to change or turn on, and maybe some of the easier foods to do. We're going to go over chill mode and regular mode. All this stuff is going to happen. And hopefully, when it's all said and done, you guys will be a little bit more confident, a little bit more comfortable, and able to move forward. New save file. Okay, so a real quick rundown. I'm first going to enter the Konami code on the main menu because that's super important. You heard the ding, you know it worked. If you don't know what the Konami code is, shameth upon thee. But there's the internet. It exists. You can look it up. And you have to do it on the keyboard. Just giving you guys that as a heads up on the menu when you first start here. Anyhow, first we had Cook, Serve, Delicious. And essentially the Sherry Soda Tower was where basically your first restaurant was. And that was the setting of the first game. It was a pretty big success for you as the old chef. In fact, it was, you basically had a rundown diner that you brought to like the best restaurant in the world. And then apparently the owners of the Sherry Soda Tower decided, we're going to do some like embezzlement, some bad juju magumbo, and then long story short, everything got torn down, everything got seized, and you were ousted out of your restaurant. So you went into Cook, Serve, Delicious 2, into Tarragon Tower, and it might have been like Sherry Soda Complex, I might be slightly off. Anyway, Tarragon Tower, and there you kind of bought space, again, starting with like it's a small rundown cafe. You could work as a cook or a chef for hire, going to the various different places like Max Wiener's, Chili Bowl, and so on and so forth. And eventually, you earn some money. You're able to fancify your restaurant. You're able to get some buzz going around your restaurant. And you brought your little, basically, 0-star eatery up to a 5-star restaurant once again. The #1 restaurant in the world. And that's basically where this game starts off. And throughout all of it, some interesting stuff has been kind of happening in the world, or more specifically in the U.S. We are in the not incredibly distant, but not exactly super near future at this point. And, well, you'll see how things have progressed. Probably not great, but we'll see. Alright, so enjoy the opening cinematic.
The year is 2041, and the United States is reeling from war. But that hasn't stopped business from booming. Welcome to Tasteville recently opened its 1,000th restaurant. Chili Bowl bought a small island in the Pacific. And Max Wiener's continues to be in and out of various ventures. And as for Cook, Serve, Delicious, well, it continues to be regarded as the finest restaurant in the world. Until it was destroyed 20 minutes ago. Easy on the brakes, Whisk.
Sorry, Cleaver. This old hunk of junk needs some love and care.
Jeez, look at this place.
Do you think anyone made it?
Only one way to find out.
Hey, Cleaver! I think I found a survivor! Give me a hand!
On my way! Alright. 1, 2, 3, lift!
Holy crepe, is that the chef from Cook Serve Delicious? I'm such a big fan.
Chef, I've got some good news and some bad news. Your vitals look fine, just some minor scrapes and brain hemorrhaging, but your restaurant is... it's gone. I'm sorry.
Cleaver, a word with you, in private.
What?
What if we give Chef our truck and offer to help? You could be a guardian, and I could be the driver.
Well, it would be nice to work with living people for a change.
All right then, it's settled.
Okay, well, I didn't
Hey,
agree
Chef! We have an idea.
Serve delicious. Delicious. Serve delicious.
And here we are 1 year later, after the truck has been converted into the Cook Serve Delicious truck, and we're starting off fresh once again. We have Cleaver as the guardian and Whisk as the driver. And yeah, if you've played the Cook Serve Delicious franchise before, maybe you started with 1 and played 2, or you just played 2, or maybe you're new altogether, 3 will be the most intense out of all of them, as it's, well, that's kind of the whole nature of it. So gone are a lot of the things that some people might have enjoyed. Again, each iteration of the Cook Serve Delicious franchise is a bit different than the previous one. So like I said, there's going to be some stuff that maybe you really enjoyed doing, like the chores, like smash that trash, for instance, or having to do the dishes. Some people didn't like that. So this one has done away with a lot of that, and you're more focused on just cooking. On top of that, you're more focused on getting stuff right and being quick, efficient, and pleasing your customers, not letting them go away angry. So you have limited time to get stuff done. It's almost like rush hour all the time from the previous iterations, and you'll see. But we'll have plenty of time to explain, as the first level is really heavily tutorialized, and then kind of the menus and how to move around and navigate is pretty heavily tutorialized on the next 1 or 2 stops. Once you get done with that, you're pretty much good to go. They stop holding your hand and let you really take off. So I'm going to hold your hand a little bit longer to give you guys like some best practices, best plans moving forward. And one of the first things that you really have to do, and again, this is going to be a bit explanatory, so bear with me. But one of the first things you're really going to have to do is either try out a whole bunch of different ones. Well, there's like 4 iterations, I guess, but you either have to try out all of them or pick one and stick with it. Now, veterans of the series from years past, have all basically learned how to play this game, and essentially, or this franchise, essentially the franchise is known almost as a typing game that you still play and you do all this stuff. Most people use exclusively the keyboard, or at least they did. I don't know how that's changed over the last, since this game released last year or so. However, I started with the keyboard. All right, so you can play it with the mouse, the keyboard and the mouse, kind of a combination thing, which I tried. Didn't work super well. And finally, you also have controller support, which works phenomenally well, both in Cook Serve Delicious 2 and 3. So, this is one of those games where there's so much going on. It's chaotic, it's crazy, and you really have to be able to parse a bunch of different information and then, mechanically be able to do the things that you need to do to make it work. So, as I said, I started with the keyboard and the mouse. I did a little bit of like click here, click there to kind of basically advance stuff, essentially. And then I tried a bit more just with the keyboard, and I was doing okay. I was getting a little bit better, but I was struggling. I was struggling really, really bad. This is maybe one of the first games that I myself can honestly say that I was terrible at when I first started. Well, we needed to play around with the controller a bit. We were recording some footage for something, and I believe it was a trailer, and they needed controller footage. And I was like, "Ooh, okay, well, I've never done it with the controller, but I'll give it a shot." Boy, that was awkward. That was a real difficult time. But by the time I got done, because I had to play enough to get competent to make the video look at least decent, I was probably on par with, maybe a little bit worse, maybe a little bit better. I want to say a little worse than I was with the keyboard. And essentially I was like, well, I'm a little bit more used to this right now. I'll stick with it. And I'll tell you, switching to the controller from the keyboard has been a lifeline for me. It's been game changing, quite literally and figuratively. So what I recommend is, if you're new to the series, try each of the individual ones, and you're gonna have to probably try it for a few hours. You can't just be like, oh, I tried it for like 2 stops and I hated it. I didn't like the controller either when I started, but now I'm literally 500-600 times better with the controller than I am with the keyboard, which is saying something, considering I used to be someone who played a lot of text-based gaming, and it was all about typing. So, my typing skills pretty high up there. Yeah, controller, just for me, works easier. Find what works for you. That's the first key, most important part of all of this. And like I said, it's going to take you several hours of each one to really play around with. I'll give you a hint, the mouse is probably too slow. Might help you at the beginning to understand the game a bit better, but the mouse probably isn't it. So it's really the keyboard and the controller. Those are the 2 main ways to play. Alright, that out of the way, and I know that was a big divergence from actual gameplay and everything else, but it's critically important to find what works for you. And I'll explain the strengths of the controller as we go along. You also have the ability to switch between the PlayStation buttons, which is what I have here. I'm using my PlayStation 5 controller. And you also have the Xbox buttons that are going to be available. You can switch it out no matter what controller you have. Maybe you're more familiar with the Xbox, even though you're using a PlayStation controller. Whatever the case is, you can switch the button prompts for that reason. And it's just in the options, just to switch it to whatever. So, welcome, Chef. Before we get to our first stop, let's make some food in this food truck. Alright, we're going to advance it. Now it tells us press left or right to highlight a holding station, and then press triangle to select it. So you see at the top of the screen, we have F1, F2, F3, F4. Those would be the keyboard commands for this, but those are our first 4 holding stations, basically, or the 4 that we have available. And left and right on the D-pad is what will move it, or the analog stick is what will move your cursor or your button prompts. Now, I personally, you can do whatever you want, but I personally prefer using the D-pad because it's just more precise for me. I don't know. Maybe you're one that likes the analog stick. That's totally fine. But I prefer the D-pad for myself. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit triangle. The today's menu board tells us how many orders of each food people will want at the next stop. Let's start prepping some food. All right, real quick. You'll see this in action, but I'm going to break it down for you. I am going to put the mouse on the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So you can bring this up by pressing any of the holding stations that doesn't have food in it, or the select options, share, whatever button, the one on the left side of the controller. You can press that, it'll bring this up. Now what you'll see here is that the holding station is empty. We have nothing prepared. But once we prepare ourselves some food, we'll see how much that we have cooking here. So we cook these 4 at a time, so we'll see 4 cooking when we put our first order in, and you see we need 12. When we have the 4 cooking, it's going to take away, I think it might still stay as 12. Either way, the important thing to note from this part right here with the needed is that we actually need it to be white, just like the HS is empty. We need this white. If this is white and there's none of this school bus yellow, the slightly orange color right here, then that means we have everything done that we need to have done. So it tells us here to select items in the ingredient panel, hold down the L2 button and then press the corresponding button. So L2 and R2 are your modifiers. On the left hand side there's going to be triangle, square, circle, and X, and that's being held down with L2. If you let go of L2 it disappears. And then if you have more ingredients over here on the right, it's going to be R2, and it'll also be triangle, square, circle, and X. So that's going to be every single one of your recipes, that exact same order, same button combination in the same place. And that's one of the beautiful things about playing with a controller. It's always identical. You always know what item's going to be where based on the location it is in this little window over here. And I think that's one of the big advantages over having to go, oh, well, I have peanut butter and I have pistachio. Which one's P? Because you hit like the first letter. Well, P for peanut butter, but pistachio is S? That doesn't make any sense. So for me, this is the way to go. But again, do what you feel works for you. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit the pretzel, and it's going to bring us into the preparation for the pretzel. At this point, again, it's the same situation. You have two options in this case. They want us to do the German pretzel, but we have two options. We have the one up here and we have the one down here. Below, the food prep is the recipe of the order we need to prepare, and the list of the ingredients needed to make it a perfect order. Right here, we're looking at German pretzel. I'll explain this blue and L a little bit later on, but you'll see it's actually pretty cool. So, German pretzels, I'm going to hit the X button real quick. And once again, place ingredients that are needed by the recipe by holding down the L2 button and the corresponding button. Once you have placed the pretzel, let go of L2. L2 is your modifier. When you're done placing the item, you have to press X to cook it. So, pretzel, German, I let go of L2 and I press X and it will cook. Alright, the order is now cooking in the holding station. Once it is finished, it'll be ready to serve to customers. Let's make a few more batches. Alright, so you see there it's got 4 cooking. If we go ahead and we go another German here, and we go, now we have 8 cooking, we go classic here. When we go to this one, if we take a look, you see how this is now white. It's no longer that school bus yellow. That means that with everything that you already have prepared, or everything that is currently already cooking, you have enough of what you need to meet the stop's requirements. So we are arriving at the next stop. You'll need to serve customers their hot pretzels as soon as they come in. Alright, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to make an extra batch because we can. It'll probably go bad, to be honest, but it's okay. You can make as many mistakes as you want up top. Say I go and I want to make German here and I accidentally hit classic. That's fine, but once we get special orders coming in on the left-hand side, that means that we have messed up and we're not going to be able to get a gold medal on it. So we have to be very cautious, very careful on the left-hand side. Now, obviously, you don't want to make mistakes at all, ever. But if you are to make the mistakes, do it on the top. That's about the only thing I can tell you guys. All right. So it says press up and down to highlight whichever one of these prep stations, and you can serve the food with square. Now, this is sort of a moot point. You don't do this that often because, well, you'll see in the next stop, they'll explain why this is not as used right now. Now, there are times you will want to specifically highlight one and serve that one up. And we'll get to it.
Congratulations! That was perfect.
Whisk is our big cheerleader. It's good times. Some orders are special orders that must be made individually instead of in a batch or in a holding station. Select the order when it comes in to the prep station. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to wait, and we're going to hit the square button. And you'll see over here we've got, apparently we're going to be making some ice cream cone stuff here. So the first part of this is a two-part thing. This isn't something that will be automatically served once you're done or auto-servable. So you're going to have to go waffle cone and close. It's the only two options there, and every single one of these cones are going to be the same when it comes to the preparation of the cone. So step one is there. You've completed the order, and it's in the waffle iron. Wait until the order is finished cooking. When it starts to flash, you will need to pull it out. Now, it'll start to flash, but you'll also hear a telltale sign that you need to do something. It's very important to listen in this game for the various different prompts, because they do a fantastic job explaining it to you. So, good times all around. Alright, wait until the order finishes cooking. The bar will start to flash before selecting it. So let's listen here. You see the clock is spinning around when it gets up. You hear that boo-doo. So now we're going to go ahead, we're going to hit the square button. Follow the recipe below, and to turn the page, press the circle without holding L2 or R2. If an ingredient has a 2, it requires 2 of that ingredient. Now, the first times I was doing this, I didn't realize that they didn't necessarily need to all be dipped cones. So you see right now, we only have one option. It's dip the cone. If you look at the bottom, that's not one of the things it wants you to do. So the first page is always going to be this little blue color. And you see how here we have an L and we have an R in this, we'll just call it purple for lack of a more accurate term. And this purple pink color here. I guess it's more pink. I don't know, whatever color it is, guys and gals. That means that it's on page 2. You can see there's a little purple indication right here. And this one's on the left-hand side in one of the 4 slots. This one's on the right-hand side in one of the 4 slots. If you have the time to look at the L or the R, it might help you figure out where you need to be looking for the various different things. But as you start to play and go through and do things, you're going to pick it up because you're going to be used to the recipes. You're usually going to want to go with things that you're comfortable with, that you understand, and that you're able to handle. So here we are, we're on page 2. Again, you can switch between them by not holding down L2 or R2 and just hitting the circle button. And the vanilla indeed is on the left-hand side at the top, and Rocky Road is at the right-hand side on the top. So you do 1 and 1, and then you let go of both L2 and R2, and you hit serve. And remember, the L2 is for the vanilla on the left, and then you let go of that and you hit R2 for the Rocky Road on the right. And then once those are in there, you let go, you hit X, serve is there. Now it says, let's make some extra batches of pretzels, and I am here for it. We are going to take that to heart. All right, we've got enough pretzels. You can see there. If you ever want to back out, you can just hit the X button and serve when it's not ready. Most things will let you do that. Some things you'll also have to make the wrong recipe or something just to get it to clear up top. But usually you can open it and just hit the serve button or the cook button immediately, and it just won't do anything. It'll like reclose up top. Alright, you can also call Whisk and Cleaver to help serve dishes. Flick the right analog stick in any direction to get them to auto-serve all orders that are ready. Now this is key. This is like one of the most important things that Cook Serve Delicious 3 has done that 2 and 1 did not have. The auto-serve is probably my favorite feature in the entire game. It is so nice. It works very well. Again, you don't have to be like, all right, I need to do like a left, up, down, right thing to serve the foods. You just literally just smash your thumb in the general direction of your right analog stick, and in any direction that it gets pressed, it will auto-serve anything that's ready. So I'm going to hit the X button. So instead of going through and having to hit square and square and square, I'm just going to tap the right analog stick, serve everything that was ready. And again, we could still do it this way, but we have the other way of doing it now. All right, so they're saying that the gloves are off. We are hands-free. We are, I guess, weapons-free to do whatever we will. So we'll make that waffle cone. And you see the timer is ticking. It starts at 12 o'clock, runs around 1 full hour, minute, whatever you want to call it, and then it's ready to go. This one does want the cone dipped, so we do that. Then we switch over to chocolate on the left, and praline is also on the left. And once we're done, we hit the serve button. I think it's the serve button. So I'm going to cook 2 of these. I'm going to go a little bit faster, but I'm not going to go crazy because we have to get this done in time. So double mint, double vanilla. We're going to get the waffle cones going. I'm spacing this out a little bit just to make it a little easier for myself. All right, dip. We're going rainbow sherbet. We're going butter pecan, and we're done. I did an auto serve between that, double Rocky Road, and we're done. Now this will burn if you let it go too far. It's still okay. It's still okay. Now you should start getting nervous. It makes a sound, and you're almost out of time. You got to make sure you serve it before you run out of time there. Now we're gonna dip the cone. And even while you're in the cook menu, we're in the cook menu right here. We're not ready to serve this yet. You tap the right analog stick, you can still auto-serve all those pretzels. Now, you don't necessarily want to go through all of them because I think there's still more that we need than what we have cooked. So let's finish up the recipe. I'm going to get the cursor back off the screen. And again, this is a tutorial. This is much slower than it normally would be. Patients get real uncomfortable and real impatient. All right, boom, boom, done. Serve that, and you see they want more pretzels. Classic, 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 and German. All right, I think we still need more. Yeah, we're cooking 16. We need 18. Now, when stuff is cooking, that basically resets their impatience. They won't be super mad at you for the food cooking, but if it's not cooking, they get real upset with you. Alright, and when these last two are done, we are done with the stop. I don't believe I made any mistakes. Let's hope I didn't. And that's essentially a perfect run. If you do everything perfectly all the way through, you will get a gold medal. Now, this voice line that's going to come up is the one that is locked behind the Konami code on the main menu screen. So, if you don't like what you hear, you won't hear it unless you unlock it. And it's only one time when you get a gold medal.
Let's go! Manifest your truth! Achieve them! Think it in your mind and it will be! Cleaver.
Alright, so they both have a personality. Whisk is the cheerful, upbeat, almost coddling, almost sickly sweet robot companion, while Cleaver, a bit more grounded, very backhanded with her compliments, kind of mean overall. So, yeah, you'll see. They grow into their own roles. You understand their characters very nicely, and as you advance through the game, you're going to see more and more of what's going on, the state of the U.S., and on top of that, you will also see kind of like relationship building and stuff in the past and so on and so forth. And at the end of every... I'll show you here in a second. So I'm going to back out right now, and then I'm going to show you right over here at the end of every... I don't know what to call it, route, but area. So, like, we're in Boise, Idaho right now. So, in the end of every area, you'll see an exit. And you see the exits right here. Once we get 10 silver, we're able to go take the exit thing. Once we finish that up, we're going to get a cutscene at that point. I say cutscene. It's going to be a still image, but it's going to be dialogue. And it's going to be voice acted with Whisk and Cleaver. And they're going to tell kind of the story of what's going on with us. Like, oh, we got this. Well, we're going to go do this next. And then you move on to the next area. When you move on to the next area, the first area that you do in the new place, the first stop or route that you do in the new place, is going to have a lot of Whisk and Cleaver talking over at the beginning of it, kind of explaining the area, what's going on there, and everything else. It's a nice way to advance the story with it being there. As you progress, you get more and more information, but not like overly done where you got to sit through a bunch of dialogue over and over again. I think they did a very nice job of balancing gameplay, storyline, and all of that. Now, granted, some of the gameplay gets real frantic, real crazy, real quick, but it's all good. Alright, so we gold medaled the first actual tutorial area. Now we're going to go into Simply Solids. All of these different things that we do, all of these different routes that we pick, they will have different things written in them, like Simply Solid 0, for instance. And they all mean different things. So as you get further along, you'll see some new stuff. And you're like, oh, what's that? Oh, I can't do that. Maybe it's too complicated. Try to work around things that you struggle with and focus on the things that you have a strength with. That's my kind of my best advice with that. But we'll get into some more stuff here soon. All right. Simply Solids 0, our second one. So there's a standard and a chill mode. I'm going to wait until we get out of these first three stops to kind of go over that a bit more. And I get some more information to give you guys in after this stop for the next one. But for right now, it doesn't really matter. So, before we start the day, we'll need to fill out today's menu. I've analyzed our route and potential customers, select the best foods for the job. Select any slot to get started. So, gone are the days of Cook Serve Delicious 2, and I think 1 also had this, where you had menu decay anytime you went and you did like the same menu item too many days in a row. It would start being less popular and start getting like negative buzz and all this other stuff. All that stuff is taken out. You go to these different routes, they have specific foods that they would like a specific type of foods. In this case, it's the 0-point menu items. Any of those will work for this stop, or for this route, we'll say. So you get to choose and build your menu based off the recipes that you have unlocked, or the ones that you buy to unlock, and what's available per each route. So it's much more streamlined, and it kind of forces you, well, you get to learn things that you really enjoy doing, with the ones that you enjoy making, But it does force you out of your comfort zone sometimes, where you have to go and try a new food that you've never tried before, because they just don't have the ones that you're comfortable and used to. So it does a good job of slowly bringing you out and forcing you to experience and expand your horizons into new foods and things. That's quite good. All right, so we're selecting the holding station one. Keep adding foods until your menu is all full. Now, right now, there's not a lot of information. I'll explain this later. But right now, basically, all we know is that these are all 0-point foods and they're all holding station foods. I actually still have no idea what the red stop versus the red stop sign versus the yellow yield sign on the holding station means. If it explains it somewhere, I don't know what that is. These seem to all be deep fried. I don't know about that one. Turkey leg might even be deep fried, whereas everything else I don't think is. Maybe that's the difference. Deep fried versus not. I'm not real sure. So let's go with the ed soup or the egg drop soup. Let's go with the ayam goreng. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that flawlessly as always. I want to see if that's actually. Hold on. I want to see if the turkey leg is actually deep fried, and then. I like to go with the nuggies. I like to get some chicken nuggies going here, so we're going to do that. And then after we get our holding station foods, that's the stuff that's along the top, then we move into our special order foods. That's the prep stations on the left. Between when you actually come up to the stop, or I guess when you start and then before you come up to the stop, you will get special orders come in that you have to go and fulfill. Once you get to the stop, the special orders stop coming in, and all of the food that's in the holding stations up top will all move over to the left, and you just have to serve them. So in this case, easiest recipe in the entire game, crab legs. It's 2 things. It's real easy. We'll go with the Buddha kimchi. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that as well. And I don't know, let's do a little something sweet here. A little marshmallow square as your final food there. All right, all systems are a go. Let's just begin the day, load up the food truck, head on out, and let's get to it. And essentially, it's just going to load us in. And we're going to dive into the game and really hope that we do everything well. Now, I don't believe they hold our hands at all. Patience is turned on and all that stuff. So we're going to have to be relatively quick with what we're doing. I will still try to go slow enough to explain everything that I'm doing to make sure you guys understand and still succeed at the day.
All right, chef. Show me what you got.
So as soon as the green light goes, you want to immediately hit that triangle button and just start prepping the food. So just go, boom, turkey leg. No, see, this is on a grill. I don't understand what the that yellow thing means, even after hundreds of hours of playing. All right. So if you take a look, after cooking one of each of those, we still have more that we need to do. I'm going to do another turkey leg, and I'm going to leave that alone. Now our first special orders come in on the left. Everything up top is set. We don't have to deal with it anymore until it's time to serve it. So on the left, we're going to go over here. We're going to do the crab legs, the lemons, and then we're going to let go of our L2 button and serve it. Again, L2, crab legs with triangle, lemons with square, let go of L2, hit that X to cook it, and it's clicking through. Now, just like with auto serve, once the food is done cooking, if you don't have to go back to it and do anything like this, if you hit the right stick, it will auto plate it. So you don't have to go back like here, and if I hit square, it does the same thing. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get these things done real quick. And just immediately, you'll see they get impatient. The stuff's starting to tick down. You got to make sure you hit that right analog stick before they get too impatient. So I'm going to go ahead and do some more nuggies here. And that'll buy us a little bit of time. Whenever you have extra time between stops, like say you're cooking one last thing to serve, refresh your stuff up top if you can. If you have the time, do it, because that's less time that you spend up top in the next deal, like before the next stop, and more time you can spend on the special orders when they come in. And again, it doesn't have to be served immediately. It's not like the quicker you do it, the better it is for the customers. As long as you do it before it goes away, you're fine. So I'm going to wait, and we'll serve it now.
That was unbelievable.
So I'm going to hit the select button.
I am so
Or the
proud of
share
you.
button or whatever on the left side of the controller. You see we have everything we need for the next stop. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit X back out of that, and we're going to focus on doing this.
Next stop.
Marshmallow squares. Again, it's always going to be the same thing. It'll give you the recipe in top left to bottom, and then top right to bottom. So it's always going to be the same button combination, depending on where the ingredients are. Alright, so I'm waiting for those to cook. I'm going to throw another turkey leg onto the thing. I'm going to serve that up. I'm going to toss out these and get some more nuggies made. I'm going to toss out the egg drop soup and get some more egg drop soup made. And we're going to serve that up as everything else is fine. We've got our final stop coming up. You see in the top right the distance it's going to take, and it ticks down. It's like, I think, like 3 for every half second, maybe. So 6 for like every second. And it gives you a halfway mark, so you know, like, okay, we're going to be coming up to the stop soon. Make sure that maybe you moved off of the top by now and you're doing those special orders, because there's, you know, people are going to be impatient when it's not made when you get there. There are food truck upgrades, and we'll be going over that when we can. You're going to have to play at least an hour or so without having any food truck upgrades. Those food truck upgrades are going to be super important. All right, now, if you're not able to serve the food before it eventually goes bad, you see these little like pie graph things going here. As they're starting to tick down, you notice that this one on the right hand side up top is red. It's about to go bye-bye. It will go bad. I'm going to try to let it go bad. See, it went bad. So we lost the 6 that we had there, but we still have the 6 here that we made. If that happens and you don't have another one, you just go up there, you press the triangle on it, and you just dive right back in, and you try to making some more right away. Alright, we got all the nuggies we need. Now we're going to do turkey legs here. And then we're going to do some egg drop soup at the front. And another turkey leg will give us all that we need here. And with that, once it's all done, I believe we're good to go. You know what? I think I know what the yellow one is. The yellow one is, it needs to be a holding station food like the rest. But, I can't do it in time. Actually, I can. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick. I'm just going to test this. So, right now it's cooking, right? So, if I cancel this, I can go here and do a single one. I think you can do single ones. Don't do the single ones if you can help it. It's always better to do it in the holding station. But you can actually do a single turkey leg or a single nuggie or whatever. You can cook a single order on the left-hand side if it's a yellow one. That must be what that is. The red ones are holding station only. The yellow ones are holding station. But if you just need a one-off, you can do that too. And there may be reasons and times to do that, but it's fine. Anyway, we're done. We did a perfect stop there. No issues whatsoever. Alright, and you get the little balloons and not really confetti, but like a little, I don't know, ribbon streamer came down.
Whoa! I think that's a perfect run.
There we go. A whisk giving us a little bit of love right there. It's good times all around, folks. Good times all around. So, the breakdown of this screen, and it's going to fluctuate a bit, but any 0 or 1 point menu item is going to be worth $1. Any 2 point, 3 point, 4 point, 5 point are going to be worth $2, $3, $4, and $5 each. If you serve 80 people perfectly, you're going to get this up to 80. I think if you continue to serve, say you serve 100 people, perfect orders, this will keep going up all the way up to 100. But at 80, this starts to kick in. These are the delicious orders. And for every 1 point here that you have, you get a delicious bonus down here. It's going to be a 1% increase in your total money. So if we ended up with 73, and somehow we ended up with 100 points over here, we would have a 100% increase over on this side. So that would be, what, 141? 142? Somewhere in that range? Yeah, 140. I think it's... Sorry. 146. I apologize. 146. So it'd be 146 instead of 150. If it was 75, it'd be 150. Anyway, 146, and you would be set with a much higher percentage of, well, you get the 100% increase. You'd be set with a much higher number here, and this then translates, whatever this number is, will translate into, I believe, direct points for this. So we ended up with 73 points, and we basically got 73% of level 1. Level 1 I think is 100 points to level all the way up. So this is your Universal Mastery, your YUM level, Y-U-M, your Universal Mastery. As you get money, you get experience. As you get experience, you then get yourself some upgrade items that you're going to be able to use to upgrade your truck. And after that, there's also an exchange rate at every single individual route. So 73 exchange rate is 20 CC. So this 73 is then turned into Crumb Coin, which you get here. It would be 3 Crumb Coin. Crumb Coin is used to buy customizations for your trucks, which are basically cosmetic or aesthetic items to make your truck look fancy and cool, and also to buy new foods. So that's kind of the breakdown there. If you made a food that maybe you served it slightly before it was done cooking, or there was like a 12 item menu item and you got like 11 of them right and none of them like extra wrong, you might get like a blue serving there. These are like okay orders. But if you do something like real bad, you burn the food, or you don't get to the customer, or they wanted like a chicken taco and you give them like a shrimp taco, they're going to be real mad at you, and they're going to give you the red ones. If you want a gold medal, has to be all perfect all the way across the board. If you want silver medals, you have some wiggle room. I don't know exactly off the top of my head what it is, but there's a bit of wiggle room there. Like you can have like 8 regular orders and 4 angry orders, and then bronze, it's even more forgiving. And most of the stuff that you need to get through, you can get with silver. All right, let's move on. We spent enough time on that screen. We got our first level up there, so that feels pretty good. We're going to go down here, 3-point menu, that we're going to learn about point requirements in menus. It's got Simply Solids 0 and Simply Solids 1, which are all 0 and 1 point foods. So let's go to that. And we're going to talk about the standard and chill after this one. All right, this menu has a 3-point requirement. We'll need to purchase some higher level foods. Buy and place at least 3 tier 1 foods in your menu. The number of the food is indicated in the top right. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 based on colors. Since this is Simply Solid 0 and 1, that means only 0s and 1s are going to show up in this menu. So don't worry too much about it. All right, now I'm going to go down here actually, and I'm going to show you guys something that's super important. All right, so if we take a look, let's take a look at the Bananas Foster and the Kringle. Okay, right now we don't know anything about them other than their 1-point menu items and their special orders. To us, they're exactly the same. We don't know any different. Now, let's go and change an option here. I cannot stress enough that this is the most important option you need to change in your game no matter what you're doing. Go here, do it earlier than I'm doing it now. First thing you do when you get an option to play with the menu, go do this immediately. Go into your options, go down to advanced. I'm going to use the cursor here, show it to you. View servings and auto serve. It's off. This is not, it's going to automatically serve your food. This is literally for the menu item that we're about to look at here. This will show you extra information on the menus that we're looking at that will help you make your choice and make your life literally 200 million times easier. It's really a big deal. So we're going to turn that on. We're going to go back to options. All right. We're going to go back down to that same area that we were at before, the special orders. And now when we look at Bananas Foster and Kringle, only one thing's changed. There's going to be more that changed in another area, and I'll show that to you as well. So Bananas Foster, the only difference between these two is one has almost looks like a Starbucks symbol, but it's of Whisk or Cleaver's head. And what that means, if you've been paying attention to like every detail, whenever the auto serve thing popped up, a little thing would pop up down here at the bottom of your screen. It would like come up like bling, and that would mean that you could hit the analog stick in any direction and auto serve would happen. This is the auto serve icon. You'll notice all the 0-point foods are auto serve, and a lot of the 1-point foods are auto serve. There are exceptions. Technically, this is instantly served, but You won't know until you go around. This is one of those points of contention that I think they kind of need to change it. But whatever, it's not that important. Like, when you get done with the onigiri, you don't have to, like, plate it. It just automatically gets plated. It doesn't cook. It's, like, all raw or whatever. I guess you already have the rice cooked at this point. So you do the onigiri, and it's just immediately ready to serve at that point. So for whatever reason, they don't consider that auto-serve, and I'm not entirely certain as to why. But moving back over to the Bananas Foster, the Bananas Foster is auto-serve. The Kringle is not. So the Kringle, you'll go and you'll put out the donut or whatever that you're making there. And once it cooks, you're going to have to go back into it, just like we did with the ice cream cone. And you're going to have to add the icing drizzle over the top of it. And then you can finally serve it. So there's like 2 steps to that. So this, you just cook it, and once it's done cooking, it plates. You can hit auto serve when it does a dee-doo, whenever it's done cooking, and you just hit the auto serve and it automatically plates. This does not do that. This, you have to go back in, do something else, then it will plate. So again, that's in that option that I just showed you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to back out. We're going to turn that option back off. And we're going to go back in just to show you once again the difference. Let me get the cursor off the screen. You don't know anything about autoserve or anything at all right now. So you'll have to either learn stuff manually, very slowly over time. I didn't know this feature existed for a long time. But you won't know what's autoserve and what isn't until you start doing the recipes and you learn it in your head versus being able to look at the menu and go, oh, okay. And as important as that is important for the special orders. What's more important is this screen. So let's take a look at the brisket versus the biscuit and gravy. Right now, no difference. That's a brisket. It's biscuit and gravy, both 1-point menu items. And the little shopping cart means we have to purchase those. We don't have them unlocked yet, whereas all the 0 points are unlocked. All right, we're going back into our option. We're turning that thing back on, and we're leaving it on from now on. All right, we're going back here. We're going down, and we have some extra stuff here. More specifically, the number 18, and once again on the brisket, you see the auto-serve icon. On the biscuits and gravy, no auto-serve icon. It's only a 6. Now, what are those numbers? That's how many servings each one of these foods has. So the brisket has 18 servings, whereas the biscuits and gravy do not. Now, I've gotten more and more used to doing special orders that you might have to go back and not auto-serve. I still really do not like, as it is something that I'm going to have to get more and more comfortable with. I do not like having to use holding station food that's not auto-serve. That kills me a little bit. It's really difficult for me. I don't know why. It just is. Essentially, anything that... We'll show you. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to purchase the brisket. Also, anytime... All right. This is super important as well. If you're first starting out and you get to these where you can do 1-point menu items, do these 3 no matter what until you get comfortable and you're able and you feel like expanding your horizons and going out and doing some extra stuff. Buy the brisket slices. You press X, you go here, you purchase it, and you add it to the menu. Go down, find the ham slices. Again, these are all super easy to make. Gigantic serving sizes. It's going to make your life very, very easy. It's going to make the holding station stuff just no issue whatsoever. And finally, the turkey slices. So those are the ones. I'm not going to add the turkey slices to the menu this time, but I did want to buy them. Actually, buy them. And no, I don't want to add them. Okay. And then the other one that's also pretty good that you can add are sausage slices. There's an option there for sausages or black pudding sausages or something. And there's only 12, but it's still really good. It's like second best out of all of the foods. So, again, highly recommend that you add those to your menu if you're going to be starting off. So we've got the brisket, the ham. We could do turkey to make it super easy, but I'm going to show you guys the biscuits and gravy. Again, not overly difficult, but you're going to find out real quick that you can get very overwhelmed with a holding station that's not auto-serve. So you're going to want to gravitate toward auto-serve when you're starting off, and then maybe experiment with like not an auto serve, like one at a time, until you get more comfortable with that. I would say probably better to do the non-auto serve on special orders first because it's easier and there's less of them to do. At most, you're going to have at the early part of the game 7 prep stations, meaning only 7 orders can come in on the left-hand side before you get to the stop, and you might be able to get through that, whereas you'll see with the holding station ones, once that's all done, you might have like 40 biscuits and gravy that you're going to have to do, and that's going to be really difficult. Alright, this is one of my favorite ones. It's an octopus. You'll see. It's just really cool. I like getting that one. I actually do enjoy doing the onigiri. I'm going to put that one into play as well. And for a special order, we talked about the Kringle. We'll do the Kringle. Alright, so there's our recipe, or our today's menu that we have built. The brisket, the ham, the biscuits and gravy. I am going to pronounce this very badly. The hata pothi stai shkara. Yep, perfect. The onigiri and the Kringle. The octopus. Alright, we're going to begin today's menu. Again, I know this is going to be a lot slower than most of what we do with the live streaming, but I want you guys to get as much information and this to help you out as much as you can. Feel free, as always, guys and gals, to hop into chat. We are live anytime you see a Cook Serve Delicious 3, 1, or 2 live stream on the Steam store page. It is actually live. It's not pre-recorded, so you can feel free to hop in, share your experiences with the game, share your experiences with the franchise. If you're new to it, ask questions. If I don't explain something or you're curious about something, ask. We can go through the food menu. We can do whatever you want. I'm here to show off the game, teach you guys some stuff, and interact and let you guys see what you want to see in the game. That's kind of the whole point of doing the live stream, right? You guys can be like, hey, how does this work? Hey, do they have this menu item? What do they have for like desserts? And we can go and explore all that. Like that's kind of the whole point. You get to see more than you do just from like a trailer or a gameplay video or some screenshots. So, that being said, let's dive in and see what we can get done here.
Good luck today.
So first thing we do, we go immediately up into the holding stations and we make our first 3 foods. Despite us maybe needing more biscuits and gravy, since this is one that is not auto-serve, I usually only make one of those. I'm going to leave this slot open for now, but normally I would fill this with something else. Alright, first special order comes in. We're hitting square. We're doing all of these things. So dough, nut fill, roll, and shape. And it tells us down here. Dough, nut filling, roll, then shape the cake, and then cook. Sometimes it's not just ingredients. If there's other things to do, like these are actions that you're taking, even though they're still in the same spots, it kind of places it in a different area, and you have to be like, wait, you only do 2 things? What are, just take your time, especially early on, and read and really learn what you're doing. Alright, so we're going to do that for all 3 of these. Now, normally I would put a little bit more space between it, but we should be fine. As soon as it's done, we go back up, add the icing, cook, add the icing, cook. I'm going to go right here to the onigiri. And now we're going to start auto-serving. Now, notice we're not auto-serving any of the biscuits and gravy. They're there. We have to go in and manually put the biscuits and the gravy down. And as you see, we have, 6 orders immediately right there on top. That gets really chaotic. Especially when you have more things at the stop to do. There's only going to be 5 at this one. I know I'm breezing through stuff like the onigiri. I'm so used to doing it at this point.
We're almost there.
And you get into a rhythm, right? It's always going to be L2, triangle, square, circle, X. And then you let go of the L2 and you hit X when it's just those 4. This has 5 ingredients, same 4. Switch over to the R, and then boom. Alright, serving, putting the icing on, and now we're going to get through the biscuits and gravy. Any of the ones that have arrows, you're going to want to start on first, because those are ones that are already starting to lose their patience. You get a tiny bit of leeway before they start getting impatient. I'm going to throw out this 1 biscuit, and I'm going to make a new one. And right here, they want some more ham slices. I'm going to go ahead and throw those in there as well. I'm going to keep my triangle hovered over the 3rd spot up at the top. So whenever that does go away, I will be able to... Actually, I need to redo this. It's going to go bad before we get there. Alright, I redid the brisket, and I'm going to leave this one open then. Alright. Put the octopus down, chop off its head, and butter it up. I love it. And then I guess you're throwing it in like a frying pan. Alright, when the octopus is done, you just have to flick the right analog stick and it auto plates it. Again, that's the difference between the octopus and the Kringle. I can hit the right analog stick all day long, and that Kringle is never going to do anything. It's going to go add the icing. Come down here, we're going to do that. And maybe one more beforehand. Yep, there it is. Not quite the 11th hour, but real close. Alright, so there we go, and we're looking immediately to get the biscuits and gravy. Going down here, some more biscuits and gravy, more biscuits and gravy, more. And you'll notice we don't have enough. As soon as we serve this last one, it's going to start ticking down. They're going to be upset. If you get the cooking going right away, they'll stop being upset. But that also means that we're going to have all of these that we're going to have to do right away. So you're going to have to be pretty quick. And this is why I do not recommend getting non-auto-serve stuff for your holding stations, because you have to be really precise and very quick with it. People are very impatient. They want their food and they want it now, by golly. But we got through it. So again, avoid. Again, this is all information, all suggestions.
Oh, wow, Chef. I'm
We'll wait.
speechless. I'm not. I could talk forever about how great of a job you did, Chef.
Please don't.
No, by all means, go ahead. Shower me with your honest praise. So this is all suggestions, information, advice, what have you, for people who are new to the series. Now, if you played the game, if you played 2 even before, 1 or 2, and you're diving into 3 for the first time, you're going to have some leftover, muscle memory and just ideas of how the recipes work and all that stuff from the previous games. You're not going to need this information quite as much. There's still stuff to parse. It is still different than 2, but your skills should translate pretty well to 3. And honestly, it's going to be easier coming from 2 to 3 than going from 3 to 2. And I can say this with 100% factual accuracy because I played 3 first and went back to 2, and I really missed my auto-serve. Alright, we're going to do the 3-point menu, Easy Street, but we're going to do it in chill mode. And I'm going to show you guys the difference between chill mode and actual normal mode. Now, take a look. Let's go all the way to the end. So we have the exit here. All it requires is 10 silver medals. When we go here, we're going to go into chill mode, and it tells us at the bottom here, chill mode turns on infinite patience for customers and turns off food truck attacks. You haven't seen a food truck attack yet, but we'll get to one of those soon enough. Then you can only earn up to a silver medal in this mode. So, you won't be able to get gold medals, and there are certain things, like the road closed here requires 10 gold medals. So that one you wouldn't be able to unlock, but... and this is another one you wouldn't be able to unlock, but literally everything else in this entire area you can unlock. Now, to give you guys a slight grasp of the scope, the depth, and the amount of different stops or routes or whatever you want to call it, there's 387 of them. We've done 3. So you're going to spend dozens of hours playing this. Even if you're phenomenal at the game, you immediately pick it up and know exactly what you're doing and you're great, you're still going to spend dozens of hours perfecting and mastering everything. Possibly hundreds of hours to master everything with the gold. Alright, let's take a look here. We're doing silver, so this gives us a chance to really dive into whatever we want and not have to worry about the customers getting impatient. We can practice foods, and we can make sure that we learn them correctly and that we focus on accuracy as opposed to speed. Again, the most you can get out of this is a silver, but that's enough to advance through, I want to say, probably 85 to 90% of the game, just based on getting silvers alone. So again, we have our 0-point items, and it goes down by difficulty. General, well, usually it does. Maybe it's not. No, maybe, okay, well, I'm wrong. Alright, it goes down by, I apologize, it goes down by alphabetical order. There we go. I thought it used to split it differently, but apparently no. So alphabetical order, so we start with the B, we end with the T, makes sense. Same thing here. So you'll have it all mixed throughout with the various different difficulty levels. So let's see, the big differences between 0 and 1, all of zeros are auto-serve. There is nothing that's not an auto-serve. In 1s, there are some auto-serves, but generally speaking, there's some auto-serves and some non-auto-serves. We have to do something else. Generally speaking, these are all relatively easy, but they can still overwhelm you, especially with holding station foods, getting them. And, you know, we're going to go with the H Dango. Don't do this normally because it's going to be really difficult for you, but I'm just going to show you guys how it's much easier if you're trying it. If you're trying to master one of these, for instance, and you're on chill mode. I'm a big fan of the frozen bananas, and I'm a big fan of the croque monsieur and the rotes. How do they say it? The rote grutze. I always call it the rotes groats magoats. I don't know why. And I call this the croquet monster. Neither one of those are accurate. It's just what I do. So, I'm going to say we're going to go a 2-point menu. These are auto-serve, but they're also pretty low on the actual serving size. So we're going to probably have to make extras of these. So we're going to go there, and we're going to come over here. And there we go. Now, you'll notice there's always, whenever we're buying a food and we go into that other menu, there's always a little bit of information there. I like to call those the totally accurate history behind the foods, but I'm not going to get into that too much right now. We're going to get one of my favorite ones here, of just easy ones to do, is the Bananas Foster. And we're going to go with a 2-point menu item of the Veal Marsala. Now, all we needed was a 3-point menu. We have an 8-point menu. This is going above and beyond. But these are all foods that I'm comfortable with, except for the first one. I'm okay with it. It's fine. But these are all foods that I'm very comfortable with. So I could have probably gone with all 2-point menu items if I needed to. But again, it's not. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying the more you play, the more comfortable you're going to be with foods, and the higher you can go. If you can go beyond the 3-point menu, and you can do a 5, a 6, an 8-point menu, go for it. If you're able to do that, it's not going to kill you or stress you out or anything, and you're not really going to risk a lot of failure. Because the more the points you have, the higher the points you have, the more money you're going to make, and therefore the more experience you're going to get. It's going to bring you to leveling up your truck quicker. It's going to bring you to leveling up your character faster, which gives you the upgrades for the truck. And it's going to allow you to get some more money and more crumb coin, allowing you to purchase other foods or customize your truck a bit more. So it's always good to overachieve what their minimum 3-point requirement is. If you can do more, do it. Also, a bit more interesting for you most of the time. Again, if you can handle it. If you can't, do the bare minimum. Get more practiced at it,
All right,
So
Chef.
again, chill mode.
Show me what you got.
We can relax. We can take it easy. We don't have to stress out at all. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to throw the H Dango in there. It's just one of each of those weird ball things. I'm not even sure what that is. Now this one says place all the ingredients in the corresponding order, and then bread and other ingredients on top. So it's telling you basically all in order, and then switch to the second page and in order again. So that's one of those rare, it's not going to tell you exactly what you need to do. This one is you're picking one of 5 berries, and then you're throwing it in the cooler to cool down. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to go over here to the Veal Marsala. Veal, you bread it, you throw some plastic wrap on it, you flatten it, and it tells you down here, veal breading, plastic wrap, and flatten with 3 hits, then remove the wrap, and then you can cook. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten it, remove. Now, most of things that you have to tenderize the meat with, you're fine. You can just smack it as many times as you want. It's not going to change anything. Once you hit the 3, it's not going to let you hit it anymore. There's one exception that I found so far, and that exception is the chicken breast. So be careful if you pull the chicken breast out. If you hit it more than 6 times, you will screw stuff up. So just be aware of that. Alright, food will still burn, so you have to make sure you at least do that. I'm going to come down here and do this one real quick too. So this is one that's up in the holding station, but it's not auto-serve. So you have to go to each one of these and put them in or on the stick. I wonder if you can do it out of order. No, it doesn't let you. Okay. So it forces you to do it in the right order. That's fine. I'm going to actually cook another one of those because we're taking our time here. Alright, we're going to go to the Veal Marsala, and as you see here, we can just do it really quick. Once you get used to it, right? And you're done. Alright, now we're going to start auto-serving. We're going to go back up to the Bananas Foster. It's literally just butter, sugar, bananas, rum. Just all of the ingredients, and you're good. The thing is done there. We need another croque monsieur. And there we go. And I know the stuff is expiring up top, it's going bad. But again, infinite patience, as long as food is not actually cooking and it gets done, you can't burn it, you can't screw it up. Even if we don't have the stuff ready that we need, they have infinite patience. They will wait there forever. So you can really take your time and do each one of these, however fast, however slow you have to do them, whatever works. If something's not cooked, they're not going to get mad at you. They will wait. This is a nice chill way of doing it. Maybe you want to play the whole game like this. Maybe the high-pressured, anxious customers, all that stuff stresses you out, but you still love the game and the series as a whole, and you just want to play it without all the pressure. You can totally do that too. Just go in chill mode and just kind of zen out. Listen to the soundtrack in the background and just, do what you're going to do. No rush. Just handle it. See, it's very simple. It is kind of peaceful when the customers aren't going to freak out at you because you're taking your sweet time. Alright, get that croquet monster going. Let's get going with this, folks.
Amazing.
So I showed you the
Chef. What was your best
beauty.
yet?
The beauty of... Let's get the cursor off the screen. I apologize. The beauty of the chill mode makes things a lot easier. But, again, once you get comfortable, probably, maybe you struggle with something. And then you get down with chill mode a few times, and all of a sudden you're like, that wasn't so bad. I think I can try it for real. And you want to get out of chill mode and actually give it a real shot. You can absolutely do that. Silver medal some stuff, and then move back and gold medal it, That's totally fine. Play it at your pace. Play it the way you want to play it. Enjoy it however you feel like is best enjoyed by you. There's a lot of stuff here. Alright. I'm still going to try to treat this almost like it's not chill mode. Again, I feel like you'd have a harder time doing this if you weren't using the controller, but I mean, I could be wrong. This is going to be a tough stop. I actually kind of made a bit of a rough one if I were to do this without it being on chill mode, which I'm going to try next. So you'll see exactly how different they are. Oh, I got lucky. I accidentally just automatically threw something on there, and it happened to be the right one. Which is kind of funny. Alright. Well, we know the roats are going to go immediately.
Cooking and serving.
And so is the croquet monster. Alright, see, there I didn't switch my my page, and that's what happened. Well, this is going to be a nightmare to get done normally. Whew. I am not looking forward to this when we get out of chill mode. Oh boy. This is going to be stressful. It's alright. It's alright. I can probably handle it. Man, this is a big stop too. My goodness. Alright. Okay, and we are essentially done. Alright, just gonna redo the croquet monster. Our final stop, we still have some extra stuff to do, but it's all good. I'm gonna come up here, get that bananas Foster. The sweet, sweet special orders make it so much easier. But man, so really this wouldn't be as difficult if we didn't have that non-auto serve food. That's the one where it's going to take you extra time. Now, again, later on, we do get food truck upgrades. One of them is you get more patience for customers, up to 21 seconds of extra patience. It is a game changer. It is a lifesaver. It is your very first thing you should be going for when you get to the food truck upgrade section, as, again, it literally changes everything for you. Your life becomes significantly easier. Alright, I'm going to go with the croquet monster here.
On it, chef.
I'm going to do the dango. I'm going to do one of these. Courants. I'm going to throw some more dango in there. Alright, so they're cooking. Croquet monster. Again, I realize that this is not on the normal setting. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to manage this when there is a timer, you know? We're going to find out because we're going to run this back with it being in normal mode. So if I were to do this in normal mode, I would choose a few different foods. So there's our silver.
Excellent job. I never doubted you for a second.
All right, there we go. So we got a pretty big chunk of experience there regardless, and that felt good. It'll tell us about customizing our food truck now. Yep. Time to decorate your truck with fun trinkets and treasures. Woo! It's a little Ric Flair there. Check it out in the customized food truck menu. Anyway, guys and gals, before we dive back in and we do this on standard, just want to remind you once again that we are currently discounted at the highest discount we've ever had for Cook Serve Delicious 3. 50% off, so if you guys like what you see and you want to grab the game, you can save quite a bit of money by getting it for half off. We are doing this as part of the Made with Game Maker sale event that's going on now live on Steam. It is only going to be going till 1 p.m. Eastern today, so we've got about 45 minutes left of this beginner's stream, and then we're going to take a roughly an hour break and come back, and right up through the end of the sale, we'll be streaming again, but we'll be going much further into the game, getting some more craziness going on. So, speaking of crazy, let's get into this right here, right now. Okay, I can do this, maybe. Probably can do this. I should be able to do this. We shall see. Alright, getting that Dango going, getting the croquet monsters going, and I'm going to do another croquet monster, because there's like a lot of extra steps there. Alright. Before the first stop, there shouldn't be much issue. It's once we get to the first stop that all chaos is going to break out and destroy us. We got about, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds before we hit our stop and we come to a close here, so that'll be good. It's going to be rough. That Dango is going to stress me out, man. It's already stressing me out. The Veal Marsala, a little less so. Now, when you play with truck upgrades versus playing without them, so like if you get further, you're like, I'll start over and start fresh. Oh my goodness, it is nightmarish to go from having it to not having it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and throw another Roats into the mix. And I'm going to go ahead and throw another croquet monster into the mix as well. We have a little bit of patience from the customers here. Not a tremendous amount. Another croquet monster. I think that was the right call. Maybe it wasn't. And another Roats. Strawberry, closing it. Alright, Dango. We got to get the other Dango going. Alright, Croque Monsieur is done, and bring it to me. Come on, there it is. Alright, first stop done. First stop is easy, though, by comparison.
I'm so proud of you.
So we're refreshing the stuff up top. We're preparing ourselves for the chaos on the left. And you see the orders are coming in much quicker. But the stop is not that far away. We should be okay. Feeling good right now. We handled that a little bit better than I thought, but I know that this next stop is the one that's going to be challenging with 8 Dango coming at us.
The next stop.
Or a Dango, if you prefer. I'm going to take a sip from my beverage here. A little bit of H2O. Keep yourself hydrated. Alright, the Dango has come. Let's, oh boy. Let's get after it here. Alright, that's actually perfect.
On it, chef.
Alright, gonna do another croquet monster. And we're gonna get the Roats going. Courants, there we go. Another croquet monster. Alright. Down to the Dango. The Dango again, the Dango again, the Dango again. You get the idea. There's a lot of it. As soon as we run out, we're gonna get more. Alright. The Roats are gone. We need more of those. Blackberry. Back with the Dango. Okay. We ran out. That's it. Where are we at? Oh, still need so many more. So many more. Alright. Blackberry.
We got this, chef.
We got this, chef. I like how you say we. I mean, they are auto-serving stuff for us. I mean, they're not inaccurate. I'm just going to throw it there so it's already being cooked. Less patience drain on the whole society there. Alright, we got through it. That was a stop that I was a bit concerned about. And you saw I had to be pretty quick. Granted, I did well, but I had to be relatively fast there. Otherwise, we could have gotten buried really quickly. Oh, how did I mess that up? Oh, I know exactly how I messed that up. I didn't go to page 2. I'm like, how did I mess that up? Remember, you can mess up as much as you want up top. It takes time and it costs you, some of the precious little seconds that you have available to you. But you can mess it up without any penalty. Whereas if you make any mistakes on the orders on the left, even if you catch them, you can't cancel and redo them. You are locked into that mistake, and that means that if you're doing a perfect run going for that gold medal, you make one mistake, you're getting a silver. And it sucks, and it's sad, and honestly, it's quite infuriating at times, but sometimes you just can't help it, That is so much dango.
On it, Chef.
That's one of my concerns there, is that we're getting too much dango going. Alright, we can get our final croquet monster here. Auto serve that. Up to the top. Oh, over here. Dango. Alright, another roats. And I think we'll be good if we can survive the dango rush here. I know I should have gone to the bottom first, but I felt like I could do that in time, and I did, so it's all good. So, as you see, the difference between chill and not chill is pretty massive. You're on a clock, you're on a timer, you really got to step it up. So this is why, once again, I recommend not doing any non-holding station, or non-auto-serve holding station food.
Whoa! I think that's a perfect run.
It was that. It was that. Alright, when we hit Yum level 5, which we're close, we're at 4 right now, we will actually get ourselves, we're really close, we're so close, we'll be able to actually go and see what the upgrades for the food truck are all about. So we're going to go to, now you can skip around, you don't have to go like through every single thing, and at times you will have to skip around. Like even if we did this one next, it would unlock the one above it, but we'll have to go to another area. So there's it's just this chunk of stuff here at Chef University, then at Harmonica, then Hazelwood, Sharp Cheddar, Cashew, and then we go back to Chef University. So you see there, three stops at 5.9 miles. It's a little bit like a way of judging how long the trek is. 3 stops, 5.7 miles. 4 stops, 7.65 miles. 2 stops at 3.45. And 5 stops at 9.35. So this final one's going to be kind of a big deal. So let's go to the 4 stops here. And we're going to go with the freshest bring your own barbecue. We'll stay with standard. Again, highly recommend get the meat slices in there, folks. It's so good to have the meat slices, I'm telling you. All right. What all do we have? All right, this is one of my go-tos. It might be overly difficult for many folks. Don't feel the need to jump up to like 3-point menu items or 4-point menu items right away. Again, you can stick with the 1s and the 2s. If there's no point cost, do what's comfortable. If you feel adventurous, say you're killing it with the octopus and the onigiri, then move on to something else. I'm going to actually go with... All right, I will give you guys, this is a tip. This is another one of those little nuggets of information and joy that I can impart onto you. The steak. The steak is one of the best items in the entire game. It is pretty darn easy. You choose a cut of meat and you cook it. The only thing is you have to make sure that when it's done cooking, you immediately hit that right analog stick to auto serve, plate, or whatever you're going to do. It will burn quickly because steak is prepared, barely rare, all the way up to well done. So they all have different cook times. This was much more difficult when you had to manually go to each place and hit the square button to stop the cooking at the right time. With auto serve, it has made the steak probably the best, easiest item to cook, maybe in the entire game. Maybe. I mean, again, you have to pay attention, and there's a couple choices at the start of three choices at the start. It's definitely the easiest 3-point menu item. So we're going to do that, and then I'm going to go with something, show you maybe a bit more of a complicated one. The gazpacho is kind of complicated, but it's still pretty easy. I was surprised at how easy it was. So we'll throw the spatch up in there. And we have no point requirement right now, but we're pulling out a 13-point menu. So this is going to be worth a decent amount of money and experience for you. So we're starting off keeping our holding station strong with the 3 very easy ones. Giant serving sizes. Then we're going with a bit more complex soup-based thing, the bouillabaisse. And then on to the easy steak and the spatch, the gazpacho. So let's get to it. So first thing we do as soon as we get in, after the boop 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 boop, you know, like the pole position thing, we're gonna immediately cook the things up top. All right, so brisket slices, ham, and turkey, super easy, all done within what, 2 seconds or something like that. Mussel, shrimp, potatoes, and thyme. And that's it, really. And we already have everything we need up top, so now we're just waiting. Now, the gazpacho, it takes a while to chill, I think it is. So you choose one of the 8 choices there. It's avocado, so we choose avocado. It's got a pretty long cooking or chilling time. So if you have multiples of these, you want to space them out so you have time to prepare. This is a T-bone, throw it on, cook it. It's rare, so it's going to go pretty quick. So get ready with that right analog stick. Boom. Now the gazpacho is not an auto-serve one. So we're going to have to go back up to it. We're going to get some cilantro oil and some tomatoes on the first page. We're going to switch over to the second page. We're looking for the beef flour at the top right. And there it is. Another steak coming in, New York strip. And start serving. The steak is well done. It's going to take forever. That's funny. Alright. Some sea milk. Tomatoes. And again, a beef flour. And that's it.
I love watching you work, Chef.
That's creepy whisk, thank you. So yeah, there's not really too much that's overly complicated there. I mean, this is a more difficult thing for sure. And if you panic or you're just awkward or slow with it, don't do something like this. But if you're trying to branch out and you want to, you know, on one of these easier levels, to do it by all means. All right, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna hit the thing to serve those 2 steaks. And we're going to try to get this one in before the top one needs to be cooked. And here we are. Cilantro and cucumbers. We'll go down to the bottom, throw the steak on. And we're going to get this one, watermelon. Now we got to serve. I'm going to try to serve a little bit slower so I can take the time to make sure I don't make mistakes here. Okay, we're getting olive oil and some feta cheese.
Taking care of it, Chef.
Like, we have a little bit of extra time to do stuff, so since they're not, like, going down yet, and even when they do, you still have a little bit of time. Cucumbers. We'll serve it. We go to the yellow flour, and there it is. And we're going to serve all this meat. The bouillabaisse, we need one more. We're going to go ahead and get the mussels, shrimp, potatoes, and thyme. We're going to throw out all this other meat because it's all about to go bad, and it was almost all out of serving sizes, or servings, I should say. And we're going to refresh all that. Now, if you want, not necessary, but probably a good idea to do, as soon as you're done with that, throw the bouillabaisse out, go back and make another one. That way you have the full 6 servings there. If you take a look, that'll be more than enough for what we need. In fact, you could have taken a look beforehand, realized that 5 was enough, and not thrown it out.
We are nearing the next stop.
I always try to anticipate the maximum amount of what we're going to need in the future. All right, so we did T-bone, we did the New York strip, and now we're throwing cucumber here. And really, we're going to just be waiting on the steaks, and we're going to be waiting on the gazpacho to get done. I'm going to throw out the bouillabaisse again and just redo that. Clams, monkfish, shrimp, potatoes, and thyme. That's one thing you'll notice the bouillabaisse, everything ends with potatoes and thyme, so you'll always get that. Alright, and boom. Balsamic oil and some croutons, and done. On to the final stop here. Take a look. We have everything we need up top. We don't have to touch anything. Everything is good up there. Just got to focus on getting whatever comes in special orders done, and we'll be solid. We'll be good to go. Alright, throw the New York strip on there. Sure, we auto-serve that as soon as it's done. That way it doesn't burn. We'll take a look here with the medium rare, and I'll show you how quickly it will burn. See how fast that's going? And already it risks burning. So you really only have, what, 2 to 3, maybe 5 seconds before it burns. So make sure, as soon as you hear the doo-doo, that it's done cooking, that you throw it in there. That you smack that right analog stick. And then boom. New York strip. And we're just going to serve everything. We don't have to worry. Remember, everything's done up top. We're going to go here, cilantro, corn, and some small flowers. Serve, 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 serve. And olive oil, feta, done. And that was it. Pretty easy. Again, pretty easy for me, having done this for, however long. But pretty easy explanation of how everything works. Showing you a little bit more of a complex recipe.
That was your best yet, Chef. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Infinitely better than some of those other ones. Good job, Chef.
Lever. See? Just mean. Anyhow, it just goes to show that, yeah, there are more complicated things. If you can pair that with something that's a bit easier, like a steak, for instance, and then do something a little bit more complicated to try it out, it works out pretty well. If you're getting thrown into the deep end and you have to do like multiple things that you're not comfortable with, it's really hard and super difficult and like very far up there, you're probably going to struggle a bit. So maybe even fall back to something that you've already done. Like you can replay any of these levels, and while you can't get an extra gold medal for doing them over, you can still get extra experience and extra money that you can use to do the customization and the food truck upgrades. And, of course, you can practice other foods by going back and doing some of these other ones, which is, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. All right. So, food truck customization. What can you do? Well, we have a ton of different things available, and there's a large amount of items you can add, but keep in mind that there is a limit. I actually hit the limit with my last customization that I did there. So there's a lot of food trucks. I actually like the food trucks a lot. That's usually one of my go-to things, as we go with the food trucks and we kind of pile them up one by one. It's easier to do this with the keyboard and mouse if you are so inclined. So we're going to put the Cook Serve Delicious food truck right there. We also have the Tarragon Tower Rubble. I think I'm going to put this near the middle. Is that the middle? It kind of feels like the middle. And then there's all sorts of the different restaurant things. You got Max Wieners. You'll be able to find some other ones down lower. You can see your CSD restaurant. This is the one at Tarragon Tower where you were at the beginning of the game before it got blown up. Island Paradise, that's where Chili Bowl bought its own Island Paradise. Let's see what else. We have the actual Tarragon Tower itself. And you can kind of design it however you want. There's a Black Lives Matter thing you can buy there, LGBT, trans, we got stoplights, we got the old days, the original Cook Serve Delicious. And you can use your crumb coin that you picked up to not only buy food, we got 50 of them, so we got quite a bit, but to buy various other things. So for me, I like the Splawful, throwing that up there. The Cheesy Hand's a good one for me. Flynn the Fish I like. The Evil Bobblehead Chef with Knife, Sticky Chef, these are all great things. I want the Whisk plushie. And I want her to hang out at the Tarragon Tower here. And I also want the Cleaver plushie. So, we can do that. And once you purchase an item, we could actually... You see all of these are purchased? We could actually just do nothing but the Cook Serve Delicious food truck if we wanted. And we can put them all over the place, and it doesn't cost us anything extra. So once you unlock them, you can place as many as you want. And if you make mistakes, you can actually go back and delete. All right, and there we go. So we've deleted all of those, and that's a good start. We just start right there where we're at, and food truck upgrades. Now, this is important. This is very, very important. As soon as you hit level 5, you're able to do some upgrades. So the first one, you have no choice. You have to choose that, and then you have to choose this one next. So what does that give you? It gives you an extra prep station. Turn it off immediately, because the extra prep stations are very useful, but also they're a double-edged sword. And I'll read what it says here, and then I'll explain why. Having additional prep stations allows you to serve more customers faster, deduct a point from your points required menus, and take in more special orders before stops, but it can also make the game more difficult if you have too many prep stations on at once. So essentially, say you have a 10-point menu, you're only comfortable doing... We're going to unlock the next one too. You're only comfortable doing an 8-point menu. We have these 2 extra prep stations. So right now there's 7 prep stations that you default with. That means there's only 7 special orders that can come in. 7 people can be served at once before it all gets cycled through, and so on and so forth. So, if you can only handle 8, if you can only handle an 8-point menu, you can turn on these extra 2 prep stations, but that'll move your special orders from 7 that you need to handle to 9 that you need to handle. That also means anything that maybe you have non-auto serve stuff in the holding station, which again, don't recommend, but maybe you have that. That means you're going to have up to 9 of those at any given time, because they'll all come down to the left versus 7. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but when this is a game of, seconds, it's a pretty big deal. So, if you do not need a point boost, basically if it requires a 10-point menu and you turn one on, it'll require a 9-point menu. So you don't get like, you do a 10-point menu, you turn these on and you get 12 points. It lowers the amount that you need as opposed to adding one to what you have. So these should always stay off unless you need that point help. Now conversely to that, we have the holding stations. These are just flat upgrades. Turn them on, leave them on, never turn them off. When we get into food truck attacks, certain attacks will actually shoot out a holding station, which can be dire. As we get into more complicated stops and routes and things later on, they're going to require more holding station foods, which require you to, when you come up to a stop, you want to have one of everything cooked in the holding station. If you only have 4 holding stations and 7 things that need to be cooked, I mean, maybe you can do it, but good luck. Like, even if you're short 1, it's possible, but it's not easy. So you want to get holding stations. Anyhow, so after all of that, all of the chicanery that I just told you there, the most important thing to do, you go 1, you go 2, you go 3, you get this one when you can. That's going to be another level up before you can do it. And then immediately go to the special system analyzer. Literally will make your life easier. It improves everything about what you're doing by a million billion times. Like, it cannot be overstated how good this upgrade is. Your special orders not yet made when arriving at a stop have a 7, 14, 21 seconds of additional patience added. It is game changing. Like 100% first thing you need to do and to max. Even getting 1 point into this is just the greatest. You'll see. Hopefully in time. And that's pretty much how you do the food truck upgrades. Alright. And the food truck customizations. We're going to go over here to the 5-point menu, World Tour Salad Envy. Not a big fan of the salads in this game. They're very small serving sizes, and they're instantly servable, so there's no cook time that you can rely on. So we're going to play around with this a bit. I'm probably going to avoid doing the actual salad here. Not going to do the dango again. We're going to go with some fried fish. I think I'm going to go with some falafel. I'm going to go with some chimichangas. No, I'm not going to do chimichangas. Never mind. I apologize. That's another one that's a bad idea. All right. I guess I have to go with the salad or pig's blood. Pig's blood it is. I know. It doesn't sound very good to me either. All right. So we need 3 more points, and we can easily get that out of here. If you want some easy ones to do from this one, again, I find the onigiri is quite easy. It's 5 things. Just go down the list, you know, top to bottom, and then the extra one. The sauerkraut and sausage, even easier. There's only 3 items there. And really any of the 1-point menu items are pretty easy. The lau, or however you would say that, is pretty easy. You get to double tap the first one because you do 2 leaves and so on and so forth. But pretty easy. This one's got more items, but again, straight down the list. But I'm going to go with the steamed momos. It's a 2-point menu item. Don't need to do it, but we're going to do it anyway. Alright. I personally would avoid salads as long as you can because
Good to see you, Chef.
they stress me out, man, I'm telling you. I don't particularly like the salads. Alright, first thing we do, we hop up here. Now, the moussaka is an interesting one because it does not keep for very long. It'll only keep about 1.5 miles, maybe a little bit more than that. So I'm going to do the fried foods first, including the pig's blood. I'm going to do 1 extra pig's blood here. And the moussaka I'm going to make and wait until we get to 1.5, and boom. Now we're going over to this. So dough flattened, then you go to the next one. You're going to add beef. You're going to wrap it, and then you're going to cook it. And we're basically ready for our first stop. So you see you can already kind of put a little bit of extra oomph into your truck just with a little bit of customization that I did. It's already looking good. So imagine, if you will, a whole line of the food trucks across the bottom that are all various different restaurants and things. It's going to be kind of fun. And again, we have the Tarragon Tower Rubble, and we have a Whisk and Cleaver plushie there. It's good times. Alright, got to redo the fish. Double cod, double fish. Got to redo the falafel. And I think that's it. You see the moussaka's almost already bad again. I'm going to throw out all of this. I'm going to redo the pig's blood. It lasts a little longer than the moussaka. And then once this is done, we're going to redo the falafel.
Amazing work, Chef. That was your best yet.
And then we're going to do the moussaka in a minute. We're going to take care of probably 2 special orders and then go back and do the moussaka. Maybe just 1. Oh, there we go. Minced meat and wrap. And over here, moussaka time. We're going to have to make more fish and falafel when we get open slots. That's okay. That is totally fine. Did I see a school bus go by? That was weird. I often don't get a chance to look out the little slats there to see what traffic is passing, so it's kind of interesting to see that after having not really noticed it too much. Alright, I'm going to get the falafel first. Then I'm going for the fish. Nope, that's falafel again. 4 cod. Okay. And we're good to go with what we have. We have 5 stops this time, so it's going to be a bit longer. Throw out the blood. Go ahead and refalafelize things. Get the blood going again. And we're going to go ahead and redo the fish. Keep going to falafel, I'm sorry. Alright, we can already do the moussaka. We're close enough right away. Vegetable wrap.
Next stop approaching.
Alright. We're doing fine. It's all good. So, I mean, that's kind of it for all the hints, tips, and advice I can give you guys for the early part of the game. I mean,
Keep up the good work.
I kind of went into as much detail as I can think to go. I don't really know what else I can really teach you guys. You're just gonna have to get in and play it yourselves, really. At this point, it's just things are gonna get progressively harder. There's not a tremendous amount of extra tips that I can give you. If we can get to the point where we unlock that first patience thing, I can show you a few extra things. Like there's a couple where you can take advantage of the extra downtime that you have between stops or between like cooking things and so on and so forth. and some little like advanced tips like that. But I mean, there are times where there's nothing going on, that you're waiting, and you sometimes have to set that up yourself. Make sure that you can put yourself in a position to where you are the one that's controlling when and how things are, you know, waiting for you. Gotta stop going into falafel when I want to go into the fish. Like right now, for instance, we have this extra time because we're cooking the fish to refresh everything, and we're going to do that, right? This is making good use of your extra time. And then, like, even now, we have more time. We're going to try to throw the moussaka in. Hopefully it lasts. And then we're going to redo the fish as soon as we leave the stop. That way, while everything's still going on, we're making use of that extra time. It'll be close, but I think the moussaka will make it. And even now, if we wanted to throw it out, we have a little bit of extra time while this stuff is coming in. And we can catch up or keep up with it if we want. I mean, we're ahead of the curve again right now, right? So, and once the 7 are in, at that point, maybe it's time to start focusing up top again, do other things, as opposed to what we've already done. So like I said, you got to make use of the time that you have, and when you have extra time. Sometimes it might not be a smart idea to focus on top as long as quickly, you know? Maybe get through your special orders first if you know they're going to be coming pretty quick, and then go back and do some of the other stuff. Alright, some more pig's blood. Alright, we're getting fish and falafel at the same time. And we need some more pig's blood, but this will be the last batch of pig's blood. The moussaka is going to go. I'm just going to redo it now.
Cooking and
I said the
serving.
moussaka was not going to last. Alright. Actually, we might not have even needed any more moussaka. No, we did. Falafel.
Cooking and serving.
And we need more falafel. Alright, now with that, that should be everything. It is. So, we got through it pretty easy. Again, maximizing the time you have to do certain things really, really is one of those key strategies that you really have to employ. Even if it's like, well, we have like 6 seconds here and we needed to do something, we could do that. We just have to be able to recognize it, and we have to try to keep our panic level down. That's something that I think I struggled with, and I think everyone struggles with when they start. Stuff is happening, you freak out, you panic, you start making more mistakes. Got to try to stay calm.
Wow, that's pretty darn impressive.
So we got through a lot of stuff there. It's going to be worth a decent amount of money, but not that much because we had a lot of low point foods there. So you see we had 74 0-point foods and 96 1-point foods. We only had 9 2-point foods, and that was it. So while if we had some 3, 4, and 5-point foods and we had that many customers, we would have really racked in a lot of cash. Not so much this time around. Still, not really complaining about that. All right, we can go ahead and do the other upgrade. Honestly, right now, it doesn't matter that we do this because we're going to turn it off anyway, but it at least unlocks us closer to getting this. So you can turn it on and off here. And again, once we get our next point, we get that sweet system analyzer, special system analyzer. It's going to be great. All right, let's go take a look at what's open now. 5-point menu, Easy Street, Salad Envy. I thought we did that one. Oh, we did the World Tour. Okay, there we go. All right, so if you have one on, you'll see up here at the options menu, there's a PS+1. That means that one of our holding stations, or sorry, one of our extra prep stations are on. You can actually turn them on and off from here instead of having to go back to the upgrade menu. So it's nice that that's an option as well. And you can change the sorting. Purchased A to Z, purchased Z to A to Z, Z to A, by rank, ranked, and purchased. So you have options to kind of sort it however you want. Like, there is that option. I'm used to whatever this is, I think. Yeah. I'm used to whatever this is, I think, so we're going to go with it. Oh, let's see here. don't generally like putting the croque monsieur at the start. You know what? We're going to go ahead and get the artichokes, the stuffed artichokes, croque monsieur, rotes, and frozen bananas. Pretty easy. And we've already got all 5 points there. Did we? 2? Yeah, we got 6. I'm sorry. My brain is a little fried from going over every single little thing that we can do. I will throw we'll throw some easy and more difficult things in here. So Bananas Foster, again, highly recommend that one. The Veal Marsala is pretty easy for a 2-point menu item. There's a lot of key clicks or button presses, but it's not too bad. If you don't get trapped in like search hell, basically, you can find your way through the gelato menu pretty easily as well. That's another one that you're literally only picking one thing. It's against 12 items that you're picking, but it's all narrowed down by color and by left and right. So you should be able to find it relatively easy, especially as you get more used to doing it. I still don't have all of it memorized as far as gelato, and it's something I've used probably 200-300 times at this point. So keep in mind that I just know how to navigate it and what to do with it. So it's very nice. All right, that's all done. We're going to go ahead and we're going to throw some extra croque monsieur because it's a little bit easier. Or it's a little bit of a smaller serving size. All right, we're looking for peppermint on this page, and there we go. Go through this one, go through this one. Just be careful not to automatically start doing stuff
the next stop.
when you're coming up on one where you need a selection. I've done that before too. I get in a zone and I just start going from one to the next to the next to the next. And I'm like, oh no, that was one I had to choose something and not just go down the list.
We got this, chef.
Alright, whoa, I went a little too crazy. Sometimes you need to slow down your auto serves because you don't want them to go out as quickly as they can because you have to make more food. So you gotta slow it down just a little bit.
Chef.
Just a little bit. Alright, we need some more frozen nanners and another croque monsieur. We'll do that. Oh, of course you get all the frozen nanners at once. Alright, there we go. And another rotes courants, and done. Not too bad, folks. Not too bad. This is only a 2-stop one, but I believe the second stop's probably going to be pretty intense. Or maybe the first stop was intense, the second one will be easy. It's kind of feeling that way, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Alright. I'm actually going to throw this out, keep them cooking. That's another trick. I want more time to prepare the other foods. So I canceled the one that was cooking after making another one already start cooking. That way there was no patience lost, and it's fine. That's something I've just really started doing to give myself a little bit of extra time to get stuff ready. Again, probably not needed at this juncture. I think this is going to be fine. Alright, Stracciatella. Sure. And we're looking for Amarana. Alright, so at the bottom there. And just kind of go through bit by bit, piece by piece, and just handle some stuff. Well, I want to thank you all for joining me on this kind of beginner's introductory course into the Cook Serve Delicious franchise, and more specifically Cook Serve Delicious 3. It is a very fun game, but it can be very overwhelming, so like I actually enjoy getting to share my knowledge that I've gleaned over the many hours of playing this, and hopefully help you get started correctly and maybe ease your transition into playing. Like it's not a super easy game unless you turn on chill mode, and at that point it's still not super easy. It's just less stressful at that point, which is fine. Alright, waiting for the nanners to cool off and the artichokes to cook. And then we're basically done once the rotes is done here. The rotgrutze, or the rotsgroats magoats as I like to call it. There it is. And a flawless day for us on our little 2-stop stop there. It was good.
A perfect run? Impressive.
Thank you. I was hoping you'd notice. Alright. Is there anything left for us to do right now? How many? We have 7. We need 10. That's unfortunate. I was hoping we'd be able to get through that. Alright, we'll do the 5-point Fried Fantasy Summertime Buffet. Maybe we'll try throwing some slightly more complicated things in here. Sure. Alright, we'll throw the gumbo in. Gumbo's always good to have. I'll throw a pizza slice in there. You guys will enjoy that one. That's one. If you can get that one down, it becomes really, really useful to have. That's kind of a go-to. You know what? I'm going to get rid of the egg rolls. I'm going to go with a stew. This may be my last stop. Might not be... You know what? I know what we'll do. Don't worry. This is probably my last stop, but we're going to be doing something else here. Alright, fresh fish. There's choices, and then there's a second page where you have a lot of options. The fried chicken and fried seafood both can get really complex and difficult at times. I say complex and difficult. There's 3 choices, and then you have to dunk them into the deep fryer. But there's various different combinations. So sometimes you'll skip that first choice, and you'll just make a mistake, and it will hurt. The soy lanka is one that I really like, and it's one that I actually use the menu item names more than the ingredients. And I don't know, we'll bring it easy here with some marshmallow squares. So let's actually read this here. So marshmallow squares, United States. This is the totally accurate history behind the food here. On November 7th, 1938, in the wake of the introduction of the Fair Labor Standards Act, Chuck Steele, a farmer for Battle Creek Breakfast, noticed something unusual. The company's dairy cattle had stopped producing milk. Believing it was no mere coincidence that the lack of milk coincided with the awakened labor movement, Steele concluded that the cows must have stopped producing milk as a form of protest against their poor working conditions and non-existent pay. Horrified, Steele informed his supervisors, who became just as distressed as he was. Unwilling to compensate the cows for their labor, the company feared that a lack of fresh milk would spell the end for breakfast cereal sales. As such, Battle Creek Breakfast set to work developing new ways to consume cereal. And after a long, sleepless night, the company's R&D department unveiled their newest invention, Marshmallow Squares, which can be made with the company's signature cereal along with melted marshmallows and margarine. Mysteriously, the cattle began producing milk again after Chuck Steele remembered to feed them. Battle Creek Breakfast was not only delighted that the cows had apparently ended their protest, but they had done so without agreeing to any demands whatsoever. As such, the company began mass-producing marshmallow squares alongside their traditional cereal and milk so as to double their profits, leaving the cattle with nothing. Totally accurate history there. So you see there's some comedical writing and stuff, and all of the different ones have varying levels of funny. Some are just, slight nods, like, it's clever. And others are just kind of drop-dead funny. One of my favorites is pork loin. If we get a chance to, I'd like to read that one to you guys. It's pretty good. But for now, let's get through this last menu, last route for us.
All right, Chef. Show
And
me
I'll
what
show you
got.
guys some of the more complicated stuff that you're going to be getting yourselves into. Gumbo's not overly difficult. Rosemary shrimp. We're looking at okra, onions, oil, and sausage. The muffins, you just have to choose which one after you put the paper liner in. Then oil, beef, peas, and carrots. And then the pizza. Hand-tossed red sauce, cheese, ground beef, mushrooms, white onions, olives, green peppers, and diced tomatoes. That's right, there's like a billion different choices, and every pizza's a little bit different. So it's rough. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 1, go. I am really far behind because I'm talking. I will explain the ham lanka stuff here soon. I have to play catch up. Alright. Sausage lanka and thigh triple breast go. Alright. Oh, that was a little intense.
Order up.
Alright, we gotta get some more stew. Apparently we need a bunch of extra stuff here. Potatoes and peas. Some more muffins. Chocolate. good on pizza, though, so that's good. We're going to do another pizza just in case. Red sauce, cheese, sausage, ground beef. We got parm, red, and diced tomatoes. We need to redo the gumbo, shrimp, okra, onions, done, and more stew, as previously alluded to. Okay, I can refresh the muffins. It doesn't look like we needed any.
Order up.
Oh, we did need some. Okay, that's fine. Gumbo, rosemary, tomatoes, onions, oil, and sausage. I'm going to redo the stew here. Oil beef, potatoes, and peas. We're going to toss out that pizza and make a new one before we leave. And this is a classic pizza. There we go. Just with pepperoni. I'm going to toss the muffins out again since we actually don't need any now. All right. And we're all prepped and ready except for the gumbo, which needs a little bit of love. Rosemary shrimp, okra, onions, and there we go. All right, marshmallow squares. Let's give you the soy lanka here. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so you'll notice here on the soy lanka, it says down here there's a 02, and it says sausage ganka or whatever it is. I just call it lanka; it's easier. That basically means that this is one of 3 variants. I know for a fact it's 3. And this one has sausage. So it's always the same. And you notice here, this is marshmallow squares. There's no number. That means it's always the same recipe. Ones that have a number means it's a different recipe each time. Ones that don't means it's not. That's not the case. All right, so thigh, it's the same recipe each time. So this one is ham lanka. So it's the first 4 ham bits and the last 2. If it's sausage, it's first 4 sausage and the last 2. If it's veggie, first 4, last 2. Alright, chocolate. We're good to go. Everything else is done, so we're just waiting on the muffins, basically. Alright, we're going to go some gumbo here with shrimp, okra, onion, sausage. We're going to go here with some stew, potatoes and pea. We're going to do some pizza, hand-tossed, queso, cheese, ham and parm. That was it. It was 2. See, I'm always preparing for that next one. It's good to get into that habit, even if it didn't really help us there.
That was perfect. I couldn't have done it better myself.
Well, that's not saying a lot because Whisk cannot cook at all. But yeah, you did really well. Sorry. I'm sorry. You can't, though.
This is just hurtful.
I mean, can you?
I haven't tried.
Well, there you have it.
There you go. So some banter back and forth between Whisk and Cleaver. I'm not going to be able to read you guys the thing. Our time to stream has come to a close, guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed this this introductory course into Cook Serve Delicious 3. I had a lot of fun teaching you guys. Had a lot of fun. Well, I would have had a little bit more fun interacting with you folks, but you guys are burned out. You're sitting back, you're chilling, you're lurking, and you're totally okay and justified in doing so. Enjoy. That's why we do the streams. If you have questions, feel free to ask. If you don't, just enjoy. And like I said, I'm really glad I was able to teach you guys what was going on. Anyway, folks, once again, 50% off. Make sure you capitalize on that deal. You grab the game, 50% off. Biggest discount we've had so far on Cook Serve Delicious 3 as part of the Made with Game Maker sale. It is running now through till 1 p.m. Eastern, which is basically 3 hours, a little bit less than 3 hours you guys have. I'll be back in about 50 minutes, 55 minutes, starting up the next stream, which will run us all the way through to the very end of the sale. All right, folks, thanks for stopping by. Thank you so much for watching. I have been your host, Bumpy McSquigums. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.